Creation's gentleness, gentleness is all I see. Creation's gentleness, gentleness is all I see. I have indeed misunderstood the world, because I laid my sins on it and saw them looking back at me. How fierce they seem and how deceived was I to think that what I feared was in the world instead of in my mind alone. Today I see the world in the celestial gentleness, in the celestial gentleness with which creation shines. There is no fear in it, there is no fear in it. Let no appearances of my sins obscure the light of heaven. Let no appearances of my sins obscure the light of heaven shining on the world. What is reflected there is, what is reflected there is God's mind. The images I see reflect my thoughts, yet is my mind one with God's. And so I can perceive creation's gentleness, creation's gentleness, gentleness is all I see. Creation's gentleness, gentleness is all I see. In quiet would I look upon the world, in quiet would I look upon the world, which but reflects your thoughts, which but reflect your thoughts and mine as well. Let me remember that they are the same, let me remember that they are the same. And I will see creations, I will see creation's gentleness, creation's gentleness, and gentleness is all I see. Creation's gentleness, gentleness is all I see. Creation's gentleness, and gentleness is all I see. Creation's gentleness is all I see. You know, you may find yourself not thinking that that's possible. You sit down in the silence and in the quiet, and you start feeling knots in your tummy and little anxieties in your mind, and you think, I want to see God's creation, the true creation, the creation of gentleness. Well, just keep at it. Keep doing those extended practice periods in the morning and in the evening. Take a few minutes and be still and quiet and observe your breath and how you're feeling, and kind of keep the guardrail of the thought, creation's gentleness is all I see. And then do that again in the evening, a little longer period, as long as it makes you happy. And throughout the day, every hour of the day, try for the top of the hour, try to tell yourself, creation's gentleness is all I see. And check in, see, are you feeling gentle? Are you seeing a gentle world? Are you seeing a world supported by love? Like we yesterday's lesson, I am surrounded by the love of God. That's what creates the world of gentleness. Creation's gentleness is all I see. And on those hourly pauses through the day, take a minute to take a nice deep breath and a sigh of relief and feel the love of God come in as you inhale and let go of the tensions as you exhale. Doesn't that feel nice? And then give God thanks for being your sustenance and ask Him for guidance. Well, I'm Miracle Willie, forgiveness teacher from the Ozarks, here on Saturday, September 21st, 2024. And we're ready. We're reading lesson 265 in A Course in Miracles, we're reading from the version published by Foundation for Inner Peace. Creation's gentleness is all I see. I have indeed misunderstood the world because I laid my sins on it and saw them looking back at me. How fierce they seemed, and how deceived was I to think that what I feared was in the world, instead of in my mind alone. Today I see the world in the celestial gentleness with which creation shines. There is no fear in it. Let no appearances of my sins obscure the light of heaven shining on the world. What is reflected there is in God's mind, and the images I see reflect my thoughts. Yet is my mind at one with God's, and so I can perceive creation's gentleness. And the prayer says, in quiet would I look upon the world, which but reflects your thoughts and mine as well. Let me remember that they are the same, and I will see creation's gentleness. And back a page or two is, what is the body? Number 5. The body is a fence the Son of God imagines he has built to separate parts of himself from other parts. It is within this fence he thinks he lives, to die as it decays and crumbles. For within this fence he thinks that he is safe from love. Identifying with his safety, he regards himself as what his safety is. How else could he be certain he remains within the body, keeping love outside? The body will not stay. Yet this he sees as double safety. For the Son of God's impermanence is proof his fences work and do the task his mind assigns to them. For if his oneness still remained untouched, who could attack and who could be attacked? Who could be victor and who could be his prey? Who could be victim and who the murderer? And if he did not die, what proof is there that God's eternal Son can be destroyed? The body is a dream. Like other dreams, it sometimes seems to picture happiness, but can quite suddenly revert to fear, where every dream is born. For only love creates in truth, and truth can never fear. Made to be fearful, must the body serve the purpose given it. But we can change the purpose that the body will obey by changing what we think that it is for. The body is the means by which God's Son returns to sanity. Though it was made to fence him into hell without escape, yet has the goal of heaven been exchanged for the pursuit of hell. The Son of God extends his hand to reach his brother and to help him walk along the road with him. Now is the body holy. Now it serves to heal the mind that it was made to kill. You will identify with what you think will make you safe. Whatever it may be, you will believe that it is one with you. Your safety lies in truth, not in lies. Love is your safety. Fear does not exist. Identify with love and you are safe. Identify with love and you are home. Identify with love and find yourself. Find the celestial gentleness, because you are realizing that you're love and that that's what's all around you. I am sustained by the love of God. I am sustained by creation's gentleness. Okay, let's go take a look in our text reading. We're ready in chapter 29, The Awakening. We're ready for section 3, God's Witnesses. Okay, and what's going on around the world from holidays and observances? AKC Responsible Dog Ownership Day, Batman Day, Big Whopper Liar Day, and tell the truth even when you catch fish. Boys and Girls Club Day for kids. Escapology Day reminds me of Harry Houdini. You know, his real name was Eric Weiss. International, well, that was his given name as a child. I guess his real name is whatever he decided it was. He decided it was Harry Houdini. International Banana Festival. That goes on in Tennessee. They don't even grow bananas unless you grow them in a pot, which if you do want to grow a Musa acuminata or a Musa balbisiana, which are the two main edible banana species, or 70 different species in the Musa genera. But of the acuminata, there's some dwarfs that do good in pots. They get to be about 6 foot tall. The dwarf Cavendish and the super dwarf Cavendish, the dwarf ladyfinger, and the venti cohol. So if you want to grow up a banana in a pot, consider one of those varieties. International Coastal Cleanup Day, International Day of Peace, or Peace One. A day to be at peace, a day to learn A Course in Miracles. That's what it's all about. The goal of peace is its goal, that we have peace so that we can know ourselves. That's our true identity. International Eat an Apple Day. Had an apple a while ago, a Cosmic Crisp, I think is what it was called. But under apples, the Malus domesticas, a variety that I want to talk about. We'll talk about it here in a minute after I finish this. We'll look at one of them out of Edible Landscaping. The King David. I want to talk about it again. International Red Panda Day. The Alarus is the genera. Fulgens is one of the varieties of red pandas. The other one is an Alarus fulgens styoni, also known as a refulgens. So anyway, red pandas. Locate an Old Friend Day. You know, those pandas live on bamboo. Locate an Old Friend Day. A little easier with social media these days. Miniature Golf Day. Chai Day. Chai tea is black tea with milk and sugar in it. Cleanup Day. I guess World Cleanup Day and International Cleanup Day. Clean the Coastline Day. Dance Day. Dance every day. Dance in your heart to God. Be thankful for being alive. Farm Safety Day for kids. Yeah, be aware of your kids, and your kids learn what's safe around the farm. Gymnastic Day, Museum Day, Myositis Awareness Day, which is a rare disease of inflammation of the muscles. Pecan Cookie Day, Seat Check Day. You have your car seat, make sure your car seat for children is working right and that you've got it strapped in properly. Singles Day, Thank a Police Officer Day, Thank a Peace Officer Day. Pause the World Day, Step back and let stillness lead the way. Pause the World Day, that's another day for peace. Puppy Mill Awareness Day, Software Freedom Day, which is remembering about free and open source software, and World Alzheimer's Day, and World Gratitude Day. And thank you all so much for joining me and studying this book. You could probably just listen to me and get complete revelation, but my encouragement is you read along and then you study afterwards and do as required as far as your longer periods of meditation. Okay, was there anything else? Oh yeah, I wanted to read about the King David apple, and as I'm turning there, let me tell you, in Slovenia there is the word for peace out of Slovenia is mir. So mir be with you, peace be with you. And of the King David apple, the Malus domestica, King David is an heirloom apple that was discovered in 1893 growing on the farm of Ben Frost in Durham, Arkansas. It is thought to be either a cross of Jonathan and Arkansas Black or a cross of Jonathan and Winesap. One place even said maybe all three cross. King David is extremely disease resistant. Fruit is medium size and round in shape. Flesh is pale cream yellow, firm and crunchy, and an incredible flavor. Michael, the founder of Edible Landscaping, says, "It is the most delicious apple I ever ate." Has been reported to do well in Zone 10 with low chill hour conditions, but we suggest Zones 4 through 8. So that King David apple sounds like a good one to consider. Okay, now let's go take a look at our reading, God's Witnesses, Section 3 in Chapter 29. Condemn your Savior not because he thinks he is a body, for beyond his dreams is his reality. But he must learn he is a Savior first before he can remember what he is, and he must save who would be saved. On saving you depends his happiness, for who is Savior but the one who gives salvation? Thus he learns it must be his to give. Unless he gives, he will not know he has, for giving is the proof of having. Only those who think that God is lessened by their strength could fail to understand this must be so. For who could give unless he has? And who could lose by giving what must be increased thereby? Paragraph 2. So if you want to be saved, be sure to save. If you want to be happy, be sure that you give happiness. Is the basic idea there. Think you the Father lost himself when he created you? Was he made weak because he shared his love? Was he made incomplete by your perfection? Or are you the proof that he is perfect and complete? Deny him not his witness in the dream of his Son prefers to his reality. Okay, deny God not his witness in the dream that his Son prefers to his reality. He must be Savior from the dream he made, for that he be free of it. He must be Savior from the dream he made, that he be free of it. He must see someone else as not a body, one with him without the wall. He must see someone else as not a body, one with him without the wall the world has built to keep apart all living things who know that they live. Paragraph 3. Within the dream of bodies and of death is yet one theme of truth, no more perhaps than just a tiny spark, a space of light created in the dark, where God still shines. You cannot wake yourself. There's that little bit of light that you cannot wake yourself. Isn't that something? So let's remember that. You cannot wake yourself. That's a little bit of light that we've got to look beyond ourselves in order to awaken, to see God. So again on that, within the dream of bodies and of death is yet one theme of truth, no more perhaps than just a tiny spark, a space of light created in the dark, where God still shines. You cannot wake yourself. Yet you can let yourself be wakened. You can overlook your brother's dreams. So perfectly can you forgive him his illusions. He becomes your Savior from your dreams. And as you see him shining in the space of light where God abides within the darkness, you will see that God himself is where his body is. Before this light, the body disappears, as heavy shadows must give way to light. The darkness cannot choose that it remain. The coming of the light means it is gone. In glory will you see your brother then, and understand what really fills the gap so long perceived as keeping you apart. There in its place, God's witness has set forth the gentle way of kindness to God's Son. Whom you forgive is given power to forgive you your illusions. By your gift of freedom is it given unto you. 4. Make way for love, which you did not create, but which you can extend. On earth, this means forgive your brother. There's how you love on earth. On earth, this means forgive your brother, that the darkness may be lifted from your mind. When light has come to him through your forgiveness, he will not forget his Savior, leaving him unsaved. For it was in your face he saw the light that he would keep beside him as he walks through darkness to the everlasting light. How holy are you that the Son of God can be your Savior in the midst of dreams of desolation and disaster. See how eagerly he comes, and step aside from heavy shadows that have hidden him, and shines on you in gratitude and love. He is himself, but not himself alone, and as his Father lost not part of him in your creation, so the light in him is brighter still, because you gave your light to him, to save him from the dark. And now the light in you must be as bright as shines in him. This is the spark that shines within the dream, that you can help him waken, and be sure his waking eyes will rest on you. And in his glad salvation, you are saved. Wow. Okay, so that little spark of light is the practice of forgiveness. Forgive your brother for the illusions that he didn't do, that were in your mind. Like our lesson today, let's go look at our lesson again. Creation's gentleness is all I see. Look what he says here. In creation's gentleness is all I see. Well, let's just read it. I have indeed misunderstood the world because I laid my sins on it and saw them looking back at me. Remember what you internally thought about protecting yourself or or anger that you had towards someone is a blueprint for the way the world ends up being made in your image and the way that you think. If you think that you're vulnerable, you'll create a vulnerable world, or you make a vulnerable world, and you can be freed from it as you realize that you're the maker of the dream. How fierce they seemed. So I have indeed misunderstood the world because I laid my sins on it and saw them looking back at me. How fierce they seemed. How fierce my sins seemed. And how deceived was I to think that what I feared was in the world instead of in my mind alone. Isn't that the definition of insanity? You think that it's out there in reality when actually it's in your own mind? Isn't that what a person that you can see is insane? They don't see what's in reality. They see what's in their mind, and they think it's in reality. They think it's being done to them. Well, take that a little step further and realize that we're doing that. And how deceived was I to think that what I feared was in the world instead of in my mind alone. Today I see the world in the celestial gentleness with which creation shines. There is no fear in it. Let no appearance of my sins obscure the light of heaven shining on the world. What is reflected there is in God's mind. The images I see reflect my thoughts, yet is my mind at one with God's, and so I can perceive creation's gentleness. Creation's gentleness is all I see. In quiet would I look upon the world. Can we learn to be still? What is that? Pause, the World Pause Day. What was it called? Let's see if I can find it again quickly. Pause the World Day. I like that. We just learn to stop and let go. Let's step back and let God lead the way. Let peace lead the way. In quiet would I look upon the world. Pause the World Day. In quiet would I look upon the world, which but reflects your thoughts and mine as well. The part of you that's connected with God, that's what you want to get a hold of, those thoughts. Let me remember that they are the same. Your true thoughts and God's thoughts are the same. And I will see creation's gentleness. So let's make that real effort to do that today with your longer practice period. Pause the World Day, step back and be at peace. And every hour of the day, pause and give thanks. Check in with yourself. Have I paused? Am I letting God lead the way? Am I at peace? Am I seeing creation's gentleness? Creation's gentleness, gentleness is all I see. Creation's gentleness, gentleness is all I see. I have indeed misunderstood the world, because I laid my sins on it and saw them looking back at me. How fierce they seemed and how deceived was I to think that what I feared was in the world instead of in my mind alone. Today I see the world in the celestial gentleness, in the celestial gentleness with which creation shines. There is no fear in it. There is no fear in it. Let no appearances of my sins obscure the light. Let no appearances of my sins obscure the light of heaven. Let no appearances of my sins obscure the light of heaven shining on the world. What is reflected there is reflected there is God's mind. What is reflected there is God's mind. The mind one with God's? Yet is my mind one with God's? And so I can perceive creation's gentleness. Creation's gentleness. Gentleness is all I see. Creation's gentleness. Gentleness is all I see. In quiet wood I look upon the world. In quiet wood I look upon the world, which but reflects your thoughts and mine, your thoughts and mine as well. Let me remember that they are the same, and I will see creation's gentleness. Let me remember that they are the same, and I will see creation's gentleness. In quiet wood I look upon the world. In quiet wood I look upon the world, which but reflects your thoughts and mine, which but reflect your thoughts, mine as well. In quiet wood I look upon the world. In quiet wood I look upon the world, which but reflects your thoughts and mine, your thoughts and mine as well. Let me remember that they are the same, and I will see creation's gentleness. Creation's gentleness. Gentleness is all I see. Creation's gentleness. Gentleness is all I see. Creation's gentleness. Creation's gentleness is all I see. Creation's gentleness. Gentleness is all I see. Creation's gentleness is all I see. And our word for peace out of Solveria is mir. So mir be with you. Creation's gentleness is all I see. Mir.